Today, we are surrounded by language during nearly every moment of our lives. We use language to communicate our thoughts and feelings, to connect with others, and identify with our culture, to understand the world around us. And for many people, this rich linguistic environment involves not just one language, but two or more. In fact, the majority of the world's population is bilingual or multilingual. Join me as we discover just some of the benefits of being bilingual.
My parents taught my siblings and I Spanish when we were young, only because we were already learning English in school, so they thought it was unnecessary for us to speak English here at the house. My grandparents also helped out because they were involved in our lives at a very young age, and we would communicate with them in Spanish.
My grandmother, who migrated to France, only spoke Arabic, and she did not speak French at all, so I had to speak Arabic with her in order to communicate, and that was really a tremendous wealth that I didn't realize at the time. So I grew up bilingual, and that gave me an advantage because every time that I started learning another language, it was really easy for me.
My mom speaks a little bit of Polish. She is definitely not fluent. She's more fluent in Spanish than she is in Polish, which is kind of odd. But she can converse in Polish a little bit, but she can converse legitimately in Spanish, and then she obviously speaks English as well.
What I encountered in school was the ability to travel and meet new people. As an American, often Americans are kind of viewed in foreign countries as being, just tourists, and they're not really conscientious of the culture. But if you try to make an effort, the locals are really happy, and they are considerate of the fact that you're trying. When I studied abroad in Spain, I studied Spanish throughout high school and college, and when I went there and I played on a water polo team and did sports and my kids that way, my Spanish got what I would say pretty good, and if you're not practicing it though, you're not being around that, you're not trying to use it all the time, you're going to lose it.
Honestly, I would have liked to have known a little bit of Polish just because of the fact of when I do want to go to Poland, I would like to actually be able to converse with people more.
I feel the cognitive benefits are things such as helping to prevent Alzheimer's disease, dementia, senile dementia, where you stimulate different parts of the brain by knowing a second language. Studies have shown that it's much easier for a child to learn a second language if you've exposed them to that prior to the age of 5.
Job is really a big factor in learning the language because it gives you so many opportunities. So growing up speaking Arabic and French, I studied English. English actually was my third language. I first picked up Italian, and I traveled to Italy. And when I came to Chicago to continue my studies at the University of Chicago, I decided to major in Italian and French Lit. The fact that I spoke those languages, I was able to work for the Belgian consulate for the Wallonian region. That's the French-speaking region in Belgium. Help American people who wanted to settle in Europe, help them with finding what are the laws there, how to pay taxes, how to go about finding a company. I also worked for Benetton, which is a clothing company. And the funny fact is that when I was working for Benetton here in Chicago as a sales representative, my job was to sell the clothes to store owners all over the Midwest. And they needed somebody to go to Mexico as well to sell the clothes, the new line. And I did not speak Spanish at the time, and my boss thought, oh, you'll be fine because you already speak French and Italian, we're gonna send you. I had 2 months to brush up on a few sentences in Spanish, and here I was in San Angel in Mexico selling clothes to store owners. So it does really help job-wise. It's a great benefit.
It allows you to communicate with people of different ethnicities or ethnic backgrounds. For instance, if you're working in a neighborhood such as Cicero, for instance, that is a higher Hispanic population, it'd be very beneficial for you to learn Spanish or another Latin language. Reason being, you can communicate with your customers more effectively and reach a larger amount of customers, all while seeing to what needs they will need in the future and how to meet those needs in the present and going forward.
So many jobs these days, government, private sector, anything like that, they're going to require, or they really look highly upon, another language, especially if you want to do government work. Often the United States does a lot of work with Mexico, Latin America, Central America. So if you know Spanish, you're at least fluent, it means that one, you know another language, and two, you're capable and willing to learn a third language or fourth, and if they teach it to you. And that makes you a really valuable asset, because now you're someone they can rely upon.
So I work at a gym in Gold Coast, and speaking Spanish obviously benefits not just me, but the company that I work for, because when not a lot of people that work there know how to speak Spanish, I am the only one that can speak Spanish, and I obviously have to talk to new members or new clients. So that has lots of benefits for me and for the company as well.
The fact that you're able to communicate with other people, you can even gossip, and other people won't even understand what you're saying. That's one good benefit, I think.
I know a little bit of Spanish. Tu habla español. But I only know, I would say it's muy poquito. Just good to know more languages. One, it's proving that people are smarter if you actually know more languages.
Being able to speak Spanish is a lot of benefits. Since I'm learning Italian and French, it has a lot of combination of Spanish in there, so it makes everything a lot easier of learning and understanding how to speak it and understand it. You're able to learn more different languages a lot easier than when you just know English.
The ability to be able to move around in a world that's already becoming more kind of conscientious about being bilingual. You see signs all around that are in multiple languages, English, Spanish. You travel around to different countries. Even if you have a grasp or an idea of what another language is, it's just simply moving around. And it's almost a disservice in my mind that kids aren't learning other languages. In European countries and other countries around the world, English is not their first language, but it's drilled into their heads since they're little. So it becomes something of second nature to them. So they're able to travel to the United States and contribute and be, a good citizen of their country. Whereas I feel like in the United States, it's a struggle. As you get older, it gets harder to learn another language. It's something that I think we need to teach our kids in a world that's becoming more globalized every day.
Being able to understand somebody else's culture and being literate in another language, it's very, very important.
It's a great opportunity, it's a great privilege to understand. Just reading things sometimes give you a better perspective because you know another culture, you know another language, and French being so loved and popular by so many people, and I think I'm very fortunate to say that I speak another language. I speak 3 languages actually, English being the third. So there is all the benefits to that. I would always encourage anyone really learn another language, if you could, a third and then a fourth.
I think everyone should at least try to become bilingual, at least try to learn another language, because it really will benefit you in more than just one aspect of your life. It'll help you live and communicate and really succeed in any endeavor you pursue.
Learning a language just puts you closer to people. It's just a humane thing to do.